if you think of you coming into the world as a child, you come into a society. You come in, there's infrastructure, societal structure, there's rules, there's guidelines, there's traditions, and you come in and you know nothing of that. And you have to quickly figure out how this world works, what are all the rules, so you can function in society and function in the world, right? So that's the first key thing to understand. You got to learn the guidelines of life. Number two, the way that we tend to be taught these guidelines is through punishment and reward. As a kid, you're out having dinner in a restaurant, you just start screaming really, really loud, disrupting the environment. What are your parents going to tell you? Or whoever is raising you? Hey, please be quiet. Now, the intention can be good. Hey, if I don't tell my child to be quiet now, when they're disrupting the whole restaurant, what's going to stop them from doing this again when they're older and alienating certain people or opportunities from their life, right? So I'm teaching them the rules so they know, hey, in this environment, it's not appropriate to scream. So if you do well with the rules, you're rewarded. Good child. And if not, you get punished. Bad. You're grounded. Go to your room. So that's the second point. The third is that as a kid, you have a very limited perception when it comes to the world. You don't think in terms of how big the world is. You don't see the world through the eyes that you see it now, through adult eyes. You can misinterpret things. So even a parent saying, hey, be quiet, in your mind as a kid, you could interpret it as, be quiet! And you could also interpret it as, oh, they don't love me right now. Now, is that true? Not necessarily, but you might believe it is from this limited child perspective. And not just that, but as a kid, you depend on them for your survival. So suddenly, a situation from an external perspective that doesn't necessarily seem that bad, from your child perspective, you're there, you might be loud at the restaurant, be quiet! We don't love you now! If you keep being loud, we don't love you! If they don't love me, I die. If they don't love me, I die. Something as simple as that, it feels like your life is at risk. No? Wow, right now, I'm in danger and I could die. I could be abandoned and die. Not necessarily true, but you believe it is. That's a traumatic experience. Now, what are you going to do to cope with that? To deal with that, to survive? Let's take the part of me that is loud and let's get rid of that. If I have this thing that's threatening my survival, let's get rid of it, right? And we disown it. We suppress and repress. We create a split within where there's the acceptable you that gets the praise, and there's all those unacceptable things about you that threaten your survival, and if you were to acknowledge them and re-own them and embrace them, you believe you will die. That's how it works. And as the years go on, we chop off more parts of ourselves and we create a bigger and bigger split. And the bigger the split, the lower your level of self-esteem.